While transmigrating into a book, I found myself in a state of disarray, lying on top of Fu Junchen. He had been drugged and slept with the original host, Jungwon. He forced her to take a morning minus after pill. Fu Junchen's girlfriend found out about this and attempted suicide. Fu Junchen believed Jungwon was responsible for her death. So he tortured, imprisoned, and abused her until she fell ill and died. But I don't want to be the tragic heroine of a misery novel. I looked at the man before me, the corners of his eyes tinged with red. Still hesitating about what to do, in the next second, he pinned me down with his heavy, labored breathing. "You have no shame, drugging me." His tone was filled with utter disgust. Yet one of his hands couldn't help but begin to roam upwards from my thigh. Panic overwhelmed me. I quickly raised my hand and slapped him hard across the face, seizing the moment of his shock. I lifted my foot and kicked him, the angle perfect. Fu Junchen curled up in pain on the bed, cursing at me through gritted teeth. "Jongwon, are you insane?" It made sense. The original host had been infatuated with him for 10 years, since her family went bankrupt and her parents died, leaving her alone and helpless. She had secretly fallen for the big brother from the neighborhood, Fu Junchen, who had returned from overseas and took her in. Fu Junchen was 15 years older than her. He always referred to himself as uncle. Until her 18th birthday, Fu Junchen was drugged. Because of her feelings, she didn't resist. Therefore, Fu Junchen never expected me to refuse, or to use such a drastic method against him. "Who told you to climb into my bed in the middle of the night?" "Isn't it deserved that I kicked you?" After the pain subsided, Fu Junchen sneered. "Still lying? Take a look. Whose room is this really?" I glanced up. The decor was indeed Fu Junchen's bedroom. Seeing me freeze, Fu Junchen slowly stood up. At this point, "Stop acting. Wasn't it you who drugged me? Stop pretending to be some innocent, pure lady. Haven't you always liked me?" With that, he pulled a diary from a drawer and threw it on the bed. I recognized it. It was Jongwon's diary. It had gone missing from the room some time ago. She asked the housekeeper, who said she hadn't seen it. But who would have thought this diary was actually with Fu Junchen? No wonder from that night on, Fu Junchen despised her so much. No matter how much Jongwon explained, he just wouldn't believe her. Because he already knew Jongwon had been secretly in love with him for 10 years, with passionate feelings. Though the motive was there, plus, Jongwon also had ample opportunity. Originally, Fu Junchen, wanting to distance himself from her, planned to get engaged to his girlfriend Lu Yao the next day. At this critical moment, this incident happened. It was normal for him to be suspicious. Fu Junchen moved closer and closer. Just as he was about to kiss me, I suddenly screamed, catching him off guard. "Fu Junchen! Don't be impulsive. Think of your girlfriend Lu Yao. You're getting engaged tomorrow. You have to hold on." With that, I rushed to open the door. But weirdly, the door was locked. Fu Junchen was only stunned for a moment before his eyes filled with mockery. "What? Getting addicted to the act? If the door hadn't been locked, do you think I'd be willing to touch you?" I started looking for my phone. "The phones are all outside. We have no way to contact the outside world," he added as if stating a fact. I was completely speechless. There was only one last resort. I looked up at him. "Fu Junchen, do you want to protect your chastity?" Fu Junchen's face darkened. Before he could speak, I cut him off. "You might not want to, but I do. I don't want to give my first time to an old man like you." Hearing this, Fu Junchen's face seemed to darken even more, his face full of anger. "Jongwon." In the end, for the sake of his girlfriend, Fu Junchen listened to me. Only he never expected my method was to tie his limbs, binding him to the bed. Even his mouth was gagged. I let out a long sigh of relief, but he was still struggling beside me. Perhaps the drug was taking effect. He started breathing heavily, involuntarily. The sound was incredibly seductive. I had no choice. I could only stuff something in my ears to block the sound, and I declared righteously to Fu Junchan, who was batting his eyelashes at me, "You're my elder. Even if you walked past me naked, I would have no interest in you." Hearing this, the corner of his eye seemed to twitch. We struggled all night, exhausted. Finally managed to fall asleep. The next day, the sun was bright. The bedroom door was unlocked and pushed open. Fu Junshen's girlfriend, Lu Yao, walked in and saw this scene. Fu Junshen was tied to the bed, twisted like a pretzel, fast asleep, and I had one foot on his face, sprawled across the bed, drooling. My sleeping posture was extremely inelegant. "You! What are you two doing?" I was startled awake. My brain short-circuited for a second before I quickly reacted. I explained. "Auntie, don't misunderstand. Nothing happened between us. Last night, we were set up, but Fu Junshen, for the sake of your honor, would rather let me tie him up than do something to betray you. See how much he loves you?" Fu Junshen, who was originally furious, after hearing my words, glanced at me with a trace of guilt. Of course he felt guilty. If I hadn't mentioned Lu Yao last night, he would have done the deed with me long ago. Lu Yao was convinced. She walked over and tied his hands with a pained expression and asked him gently, "Is that true?" Fu Junchen looked at me with a complicated expression, but finally nodded. After Lu Yao was coaxed away, Fu Junchen warned me, "No matter what scheme you're hatching, I'm telling you, I won't pursue what happened last night. Jiangwan, don't you dare try any more tricks." Fu Junchen sat on the edge of the bed, the red marks from the restraint still visible on his wrists. He put on his clothes with his back to me, his voice as cold as a knife dipped in ice. And he fastened the last cufflink, turning his head slightly, his gaze sinister. "That diary, I'm keeping it. From now on, as long as you behave, I'll act as if nothing happened. But if you dare plot anything against Lu Yao," I quickly raised both hands, putting on a surrender act of obedience, though internally I was frantically criticizing. "Lady, it was you who was drugged and locked in the room, and almost tied up like a zongzi. Who's plotting against whom?" But to protect my own life, I didn't dare act up again. I could only nod like a chicken pecking at rice. "Uncle Fu, don't worry. I'll go to the temple right away to burn incense, wishing you and Lu Ya a happy union and a child soon." Fu Junchen seemed quite satisfied with my knowing my place. He snorted coldly, straightened his appearance, and strode out of the room. The door slammed shut with a bang. I let out a long sigh of relief and collapsed onto the bed. Suddenly, an electronic voice sounded in my head. "Congratulations, host. Successfully prevented the male and female leads from having relations, altering a key plot point in the original story. Reward points 100. Current points 100. Mission issued: prevent Fu Junchen and Lu Yao's engagement. Mission reward 500 points. Unlock a villain starter pack." I was stunned. Villain starter pack? That sounds exciting. But prevent the engagement? I looked at the bright red D-day tomorrow on my phone calendar, feeling like crying. They were going to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get their marriage certificate in less than 24 hours. How was I supposed to stop that? To figure things out, I rummaged through the drawers and found the diary the original host had hidden under the pillow. Opening the first page, written in delicate handwriting, it said, "Kate, Sonny, Fu Junchen came back today. He's so handsome, so charismatic, even though he's 15 years older than me. I can't help but have feelings for him. Date, Rainy. Fu Junchen patted my head today. I felt my soul tremble. He called me Xiaowan. His voice is so nice. Date, Cloudy. That bitch Lu Yao came to see Fu Junchen again. What's so great about her? Just because her family is rich? Fu Junchen wouldn't like her. I need to work hard. I need to become outstanding. I need to make Fu Junchen fall in love with me. I felt chills down my spine reading it. This wasn't a secret crush diary, it was a Winer cultivation handbook. No wonder Fu Junchen blew up when he saw this diary. The possessiveness dripping from every line was spine-minus chilling. Just then, the door opened again. Fu Junchen had returned, holding a black box in his hand. He threw the box on the bed, his face expressionless. Put this on. I picked it up and nearly passed out on the spot. It was a chastity belt. Silver metal, designed like a complicated belt cold in iron, emanating a cruel, industrial vibe. Fu Junchen, this is illegal confinement. A violation of human rights. I jumped up, throwing the box back at him. I'm a person. Not your property. Fu Junchen caught the box, his gaze cold. This is for your own good. Your enthusiasm last night worried me. I'm afraid you might lose control and do something disgraceful. I was drugged. I was trembling with anger. And I have no improper thoughts about you anymore. Fu Junchen raised an eyebrow, a mocking smile curling at the corner of his mouth. Is that so? Then what's this? He pulled a photo from his pocket and threw it in my face. The photo showed me last night, tied to Fu Junchen drooling, in that extremely inelegant sleeping pose. Lu Yao accidentally left it when she went out, he explained casually. She said it was the warning. You left for your love rival. Looking at my own disheveled image in the photo, I wished I could smash my head against the wall right then. Oh, that wasn't a victim, that was a robber. Put it on. Fu Junchen pushed the box back towards me. Otherwise, I'll send the diary you wrote last night to Lu Yao. I'll tell her you not only drugged me, but also tried to murder her fiancé. I stared at him, gnashing my teeth. This was Fu Junchen, ruthless and leaving no room for retreat. I took a deep breath and picked up the cold metal ring. Fine, I'll wear it. As I gritted my teeth and fastened it on, I cursed Fu Junchen's ancestors 18 generations in my mind. Just you wait, Fu Junchen. You think this can't wrap me? In the evening, Fu Junchen returned with Lu Yao. Lu Yao seemed to be in a good mood, her face glowing with happiness. Heroine. She took my hand, her voice as gentle as if coaxing a child. Tired today? Did you sleep well last night? There was a hint of scrutiny in her eyes, even a trace of pity. I felt extremely uncomfortable, forcing a dry laugh. Pretty good. Slept like a log. Fu Junchen coughed beside me, giving me a warning look. Oh? Lu Yao didn't notice anything strange. Instead, she took an exquisite gift box from her bag. Xiaowan, this is for you. I opened it. It was a diamond necklace, dazzling and sparkling, obviously expensive. This is an engagement gift. Lu Yao said with a smile. Junchen and I are getting engaged tomorrow, even though last night, even though there was a little incident. I still hope we can get along well. From now on, you'll be my little sister. Little sister? Looking at her sincere eyes, I felt a pang of guilt. This girl was too naive, completely unaware of how terrifying the man by her side was. Lu Yao. I hesitated for a moment but couldn't help speaking up. Do you really know Fu Junchen? Lu Yao was taken aback, then laughed. Of course I know him. We grew up together. Even though he seems cold on the outside, he's very gentle inside. I glanced at Fu Junchen. He was looking at me coldly, a warning in his eyes. Yeah, I forced a dry laugh. He's so gentle. Last night, he even told me a bedtime story. Lu Yao believed it, smiling even more happily. That's good. From now on, we're family. Family? I glanced at the chastity belt, then at Fu Junchen's annoying face. This wasn't a family, this was a battlefield.